Today, we're going to dive into some truly groundbreaking technology that's using neuroscience to tackle severe eye diseases. It's called MagnaVision, and it's built on a pretty fascinating idea.
So let's just start with this one powerful question. What if you could wake up sleeping cells in your eye? What if losing your sight wasn't always a permanent thing, but maybe, just maybe, some of those cells were just sleeping?
Okay, so to really get how the solution works, we've got to understand the problem first. Let's take a look at what's happening on a microscopic level when a person's vision starts to go quiet. Yeah, this is what we're up against. This image shows a massive hemorrhage that's bleeding right underneath the retina. This is the kind of thing that causes sudden, pretty devastating vision loss. It's a really serious problem. But here's the absolute game changer. In a lot of retinal diseases, whether they're from an injury or inflammation or even genetics, the cells that let you see aren't actually dead. Instead, the photoreceptors can go into what's called a dormant phase, kind of like they're hibernating. And the optic nerve fibers, they can literally switch themselves into an off mode. Now, this is so important because if they're not dead, well, that means there's a chance they can be woken up. And that little window of opportunity, that's the whole basis for this new wave of treatment, and specifically for the device that's designed to do the waking up. So, meet MagnaVision. It's this non-invasive headgear. You can see the render on the left, and on the right, you see someone actually wearing it. There's no surgery, no electrodes poking your eye. It is a completely different way of thinking about this. So, how's it work? Well, the system itself is actually pretty simple. You've got the headgear, which has 9 electromagnetic coils placed in very specific spots, and a processor that runs the whole show. These coils create a magnetic field that's designed to stimulate the retina, the optic nerve, and even the parts of the brain that handle vision. Okay, but how in the world does a magnetic field wake up a cell? The science behind it is called neuromodulation. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like you're trying to tune an old radio. When your vision is failing, the signal is just static. MagnaVision is trying to dial it back to that one perfect, crystal clear frequency. Now, to get what that frequency is, you first have to know about this little thing called an action potential. Put simply, it's the electrical zap that neurons use to talk to each other. It's the basic signal of our entire nervous system, and it's exactly how your eye sends pictures to your brain. And this is where it gets just super cool. Research has actually found a sort of magic number for vision. It turns out that for our brain to see a perfectly sharp image, with great detail, contrast, and color, the action potentials from the retina have to fire at a very, very specific frequency, 42 Hz. And you have to hit that number exactly. If the signal is too slow, so below 42 Hz, your brain just sees it as a blurry mess or maybe dark spots. But if the signal is too fast, above 42 Hz, it's just noise. Your brain interprets it as random flashes of light or little speckles. It's all about hitting that very specific sweet spot. And this right here, this is what that perfect signal looks like on a graph. See how smooth and consistent it is? That beautiful 42 Hz wave is the language of clear sight. It's the exact signal that gets lost when an eye is diseased, and it's the one MagnaVision is trying to bring back. So let's put it all together. The MagnaVision headgear uses those 9 coils to create a magnetic field that pulses at exactly 42 Hz. It's like giving the retinal neurons the perfect beat to follow, and that rhythm is what wakes up those sleeping photoreceptors and flips the optic nerve fibers from off all the way back to on. But wait, that's only half the story. The device has a whole second job, and it's basically to act as a booster for the healing process. This part is called ionophoresis. Think of it like a high-tech delivery service for your cells. So MagnaVision helps the healing process in 2 really clever ways. First, it makes your cells way better at absorbing medicine. And second, it uses an electrical charge to help drug molecules physically get to where they need to go. Let's break down that first method. When your body sends out healing stuff, like growth factors, they have to bind to a cell's surface, and then the cell membrane kind of wraps around them to pull them inside. The electromagnetic stimulation from MagnaVision basically hits the fast-forward button on that whole process. That means more healing medicine gets into the cell, and it gets there faster. The second method helps with a really big problem in eye medicine. See, your eye has these natural barriers to protect it, which is great, but they also stop big drug molecules from getting to the retina. So the magnetic field from MagnaVision makes these drug molecules vibrate. and gives them a little push, helping them to kind of elbow their way through these barriers. This gets way more medicine right to the spot where it can do the most good. Okay, so the science is really cool, right? A device that can retune the eye's frequency and boost drug delivery. But what does this actually look like for a real person? Let's check out the technology in action.
And the potential here is just massive. It could be used for some of the toughest conditions out there. We're talking about retinal hemorrhages, glaucoma, damage to the optic nerve, even really difficult degenerative diseases like retinitis pigmentosa and macular degeneration.
And the clinical results are already looking really promising. Listen to this quote from a recent paper. It says that because the device can clear up these hemorrhages so fast and without surgery, doctors can see what's really going on underneath much earlier. And that means they can start the right treatment as soon as possible. Let's look at a real case to see just how quick this can be. You have a 67-year-old woman who suddenly loses her vision. It's terrifying. On day 1, her eye is just full of blood. After only 5 days of treatment, just 5 sessions, the bleeding is already shrinking. And then by day 10, it's just gone. And this is what that 10-day transformation actually looks like. On the left, that's her eye before treatment. You can't see anything. It's just completely blocked by blood. And on the right, that's the same eye after just 10 sessions with the device. The hemorrhage is gone. The retina is totally clear. The change is absolutely staggering. And remember, this was all done without a single cut.